Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Ashley. Dream Police. Thank you all for being here. And thanks for joining me, CDT.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of
I,
course.
yeah, have been a little MIA, but I'm definitely still invested in following Summer's case. So I'm interested to see what you've put together and discuss it with everybody.
Yes. So I figured we'd just get right into it because there's kind of a lot to kind of watch and go through. So this is just the first month of the investigation. And this is just pretty much everything from the news media the news and the media was receiving, like press conferences. I've also got TBI tweets in here as well. Hi, Kimberly Moore. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of bring the focus back to summer, like we were saying, and before all this crazy drama happened. Like I know you've been busy with the kids and on your vacation, and I've tried to kind of give you like kind of rundown of what's been going on, and sadly nothing, it had nothing to do with the case and Summer herself. It had to do with random distractions surrounding it. So now it's just like, let's go all the way back to day one, and let's just run through and our notes and just figure out what exactly we know and what we can rely on as fact and truth, and just rehash it all. Take note of their first statements and all that. And if you guys in chat notice anything, please let me know. I've ran through this obviously while I was editing and reading it and noticed a few things. But if you guys notice something, or Kelly, if you do, like I said, just let me know and we can just talk it through. So I just want to thank everybody again for being here. If I haven't addressed you, I see you all right now, but once I start the video, I kind of don't check chat all that much. So we'll get right into it. And just let me know if you can hear this, Kelly.
Okay,
5:30 p.m. on
I
June
hear it.
15th,
Okay.
2021, Summer was planting flowers about 20 feet from her family's house on Ben Hill Road in an incorporated community of Beach Creek with her mother and her grandmother. Her dad told the Times News in the early days of the investigation. She reportedly went inside and told her three older brothers she wanted to play with her toys in the basement. But when her mother, Candace Wells, came inside a short time later, Summer was nowhere to be found. 6:30 p.m. on June 15th, 2021, Summer was reported missing to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. June 15th, Summer was reported missing. Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County around 6:30 p.m., according to authorities. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said she was last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray shorts. Sheriff Lawson.
Okay, I just wanted to note real quick that so it says right there 6:30 she was reported missing, which aligns with the alleged 911 call that we haven't actually heard the exact 911 call, but we have heard that it was at like 6:20, 26 or something like that. So that to me, stands out as what we know and what kind of seems consistent. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. Um,
But I do know that some of the other statements along the way get moved around. So this is just, I just wanted to reiterate, like, at least we know, like, that's what this news source is reporting. 6:30 she was reported the 911 call.
right, and I'm still so anxious to hear. Well, according to Dawn and Candace, they each called 911. So I'm anxious to hear those calls.
Right.
And then one more thing, notice it she was reported missing in gray shorts, but in the milk picture, which is what they said she was last seen in, it's pants. So it just makes me wonder who exactly or which one of her parents reported it being shorts,
Yeah, and that was where, I mean, I noticed that inconsistency right when I started following this, and that was after you had followed it. So
Mhm.
I remember hopping on like everyone's lives and kind of absorbing the information, and me saying, I think in my first live that it was gray pants, and then like we see here, this and other places have said shorts. So yeah,
Mhm.
that is interesting. So let me just get where we were.
People participated in the initial search
Hold on.
Tuesday night. The Tennessee Highway people missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County around 6:30 p.m., according to authorities. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said she was last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray shorts. Sheriff Lawson later said that around 60 to 80 people participated in the initial search Tuesday night. The Tennessee Highway Patrol's aviation unit and Ballad Health's Heart Air Service provided aerial support. Other agencies involved in the search were Church Hill Rescue Squad, Hawkins County Rescue, Hawkins County EMA, Hawkins County EMS, Hawkins County E911, and Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, as well as Goshen Valley Volunteer Fire Department. Wednesday, June 16th, 12:07 a.m., Endangered Child Alert is issued. TBI posts on their Twitter. We need your help to find 4-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells, missing from Rogersville. If you see her, please call the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office or TBI 1-800-TBI-FIND. Here are some additional photos of Summer Wells, who is missing from Hawkins County. She was reportedly last seen outside of her home in Beech Creek community on Tuesday evening.
Okay, hold on. Now, does anyone in chat or do you know, Kelly, her birthday? Because I've tried to look up Summer Wells' birthday and I just cannot find it.
As far as I have seen and heard, it's February 4th. I guess 2016, because she turned 5 this year. But let me know if I'm incorrect, if anyone in chat knows, but I've heard February 4th.
Okay. It's just the whole 4-year-old missing
Yep.
and her being 5. It's been another thing in the case that people have just been like, why is the news reporting false information? Like, I don't know. I mean, this is the TBI reported that on their Twitter. So it's been news and it's been law enforcement. Now it comes back to where did they get that 4-year-old quote from? You know, like,
Right.
that's kind of strange to mix up like 4 and 5. Like if you were the dispatcher or the person receiving the information, I guess it could happen, but I don't know. It's just like you would think that they would get that information verbatim by how the parent is reporting it to them, you know? So it's like, did somebody accidentally say 4? And it's just very confusing, especially the fact that 2 of the parents were, I don't know.
Yes. And notice you did a video on this about there was an initial report. You might touch on it here as well, but that she was last seen walking away from her home. And then this one just said last seen outside of her home. But the way Candace has described it ever since then in every interview is she went into the home, brother saw her go downstairs. So that would last sighting that Candace had was going into the home. So just little things like that. There's a lot.
Yep. And that's exactly what this is pretty much going to lay out. Like this is just news articles that I had, like numerous ones through the like search, like Google pretty much. And then like later we'll look at like the videos of like news stations and all that reporting it. But yeah, like you said, it's said it's already like conflicting weird information. But that doesn't mean, like in my opinion, because you see people debate it all the time, they say like you can't trust like certain things because they're getting the information wrong, like as far as journalists and people reporting it. But I almost feel like, what if they were just given the wrong information, like a parent accidentally forgets, like, oh wait, no, she turned 5. Like I do that with my nephew. I'm like, wait, how old are you?
Yeah.
So, and they have multiple kids, so I'm sure it's like it could easily happen that they were just given the wrong information.
Right. And I remember when Don was asked on some interview when him and Candace were married, he couldn't remember exactly either. So, yeah, I mean, it could have just been a flustered, honest mistake from either Don or Candace. And then, the reports were what they heard, but it was relayed to them incorrectly.
Right.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an endangered child alert for summer. The TBI also posted more photos of the missing child. 11 a.m. Amber Alert issued in for Tennessee for summer. Citing new information and growing concern about the well-being of summer wells, the TBI upgraded the endangered child alert to an Amber Alert.
So right there, it said that they had changed, the name of it, or what they were going to classify it, and how they were going to attack this situation, like on a law enforcement level and whatever, to get resources and all that. Because like you and I learned from the Chris Watts case, like, we people ask, why didn't they put out an Amber Alert? And it's just they have little reasons and logistics, and it has to do with funding and search it, whatever the state is going to put into a case, like that is the level, you know what I mean? So like they said, like Amber Alert, that's, they decided because of new information. But I'm just curious, like, what was the new information?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because everything that we know, even up to this point, and it's been one day, like, and this
Right.
is only covered one day. Up until this point, we still just know exactly what they just told us.
Yeah.
Ben Hill Road, and even, everything that we know so far is wrong information. So the only new information that they might have learned was she's actually 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? The story changed to she was in the basement.
Exactly. Yeah. It changed from not last seen outside or walking away, or if we get to hear those 911 calls and either Dawn or Candace stated, mom went for a walk, or my wife went for a walk, came back and Summer was gone. I mean, that's going to change a whole lot as well for people.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we don't have that yet, so who knows with that.
I don't know. I think just when I think that I know the direction that this is going, even talking to you, like, about what are possible ideas,
Mm-hmm.
I always take in consideration your theory. And I don't know if anybody watched Jay for Justice today, but
Yeah,
pretty much, did you see that screenshot?
I did. Yes. Ugh. I don't know what to
And
make of it all.
it almost goes with what you had said.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like looking at this stuff right now, and like, if we're gonna just play into what might have happened, and if it was something to do with what Jay for Justice and what we've talked about, and everyone's speculated,
Mm-hmm.
if they are desperate to get their child back because something mafia related to Mexican cartel or whatever they were pretty much saying today. If anyone has a chance, not right now, but check it out. But that's what it was alleging in those screenshots that were shared. And so if we're looking at this right now, if they're desperate to get their daughter back and they need resources, but they're pretty much told, like, well, if she was walking down the road, she's most likely around here somewhere. We'll keep looking. You know what I mean? But if
Right.
they decide, like, this isn't enough, like, we need her back now, like, time is ticking, but we can't tell them exactly what's going on. And again, this is just me speculating. And Kelly and I haven't had a chance to really talk deeply about this case. So I'm kind of going to use this a little bit right now to kind of, brainstorm with her.
Yeah.
So if we're just going to say that, they have something else that they know, but they can't say it because obviously somebody could be in danger, or their lives obviously could be in danger, dangerous people. Something changes and TBI gets new information and decide we got to up this to an Amber Alert.
Right. And because I've seen a lot of people say, well, there's no vehicle. Why did they do the Amber Alert? But yeah, I mean, they do know more than we know. I do have faith in that. But like, what exactly is it? And, why they're just being so tight lipped, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just going to pull up because she pretty much summarized it. Canine Rescue. Amber or CDT, did either of you hear about, the J for Justice recap? Pretty much she's saying latest today that DW admits to owing the Mexican mafia $50,000. Wait, no, that how much is that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
$50,000.
$50,000. There was a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, this is what was being alleged today in a screenshot that pretty much the rest of the conversation turned into a phone call because DW didn't want to continue it, I'm assuming, via Messenger. And all this has been turned over to TBI. But he owed them still $20K. So yeah, that's what we're pretty much saying. Like if anything's possible at this point, because look, we're in the timeline and it's only the first day. So with the stuff that we know now, going back through, we can look at all this information a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And then I know we just kind of have talked about if it was some type of, there was money exchanged or, things like that, you would, I don't know, hope that they can find some type of trail for that and, go do something about it. But I don't know how all that works, obviously. But if there's a large amount of money, you would hope there's some type of trail out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because DW did talk about running drugs, right? Through Mexico and El Paso and was pulled over
Yeah.
in the truck and all of that.
And admitted to saying something along the lines of hard to run them when you're,
Yes.
doing them.
On them, yes.
So, and we already know that he runs or that he takes time in Utah, which allegedly, I'm not great at geography, but close enough that he could speed. He talked about going 100 and what miles an hour, just get down to Candace to see if she was really cheating on him or not with Jose.
Yep.
So all this is just very interesting and alarming getting that information today and going back through this now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll continue.
Shortly after 11 a.m. on June 16, 2021, TBI changed the Endangered Child Alert to an Amber Alert. The Endangered Child Alert is issued when there is concern for a child's safety, while Amber Alerts are reserved for the most serious of missing children cases, where officials believe a child is in immediate danger. 4 p.m. on June 16, 2021, officials with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and TBI held the first of what would be several news conferences updating the public on the search efforts. About 20 tips were in before the end of the day. 4 p.m. press conference.
So this is just the bullet points of the press conferences. You can watch. I linked the stuff and I included some of the press conferences, but this is all linked if you want to watch it. But the article actually just went ahead and took the best bullet points out of the whole press conference, and I just read through it. And I don't know if you guys heard, but did you hear the baby in the background when I'm recording? She's like all like, oh really? All right.
No.
Well, I like redo things sometimes because she's all talky in the background and I'm like, oh well, I'm just leaving it in there. But so I'm just gonna continue.
Officials held the first press conference regarding the disappearance of Summer Wells. Sheriff Lawson said Wednesday's search involved more than 100 people from 19 agencies. He also said the FBI was assisting and involved. The sheriff said it was too early to determine if foul play was involved, but noted that Summer's family was cooperating with law enforcement. Lawson also mentioned that communications issues were making the search efforts more difficult. He said there was virtually no cell phone service. TBI Public Information Officer Leslie Earhart encouraged Beach Creek residents to check trail cameras and potential hiding places such as crawl spaces and sheds on their property.
So I think it's noteworthy that there's no cell service pretty much. And I know that they Candace and Don had mentioned that, especially when she said that she had to grab her mother's phone to call 911 because of that. So it's just, something that's been confirmed by multiple places, so we can definitely rely on that. And we know that in certain instances, it's interesting, like if we're talking about her being sold or something, you would think that you would need, that would be trailed in some form of communication. So I don't know. It's almost like that information we got today. That's why he had said call 911, because, and I don't know, it's almost making me feel like if Mexico is involved, think about it on a huge scale. Like that's an international situation. The case just went from crossing state lines to crossing into another country, an adversary. Anyways, so it's like we don't want to ruffle feathers. We get along with Mexico for the most part. So, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if it has to do with their cartel, then that's a huge issue. Or maybe not even, who knows?
Right. See, it said that there were 20 tips, and then after that, later into that night, like around 12 a.m., whatever it was, they upped it to an Amber Alert. So it makes me kind of like what you just said, just wonder what they found out. What did those tips say? I don't know. Who does Don keep company with? We know that he mentioned, can I go to the drug dealers' houses? And it's like, it's just very unsettling.
It is, because why would that be the first person that you would assume? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you think, like, please, like, let's go and pull up the app that shows you all the RSOs in your area?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't that have been your first, or that coworker that he had issues with?
Yeah, he did not mention him till way down the line.
Or that neighbor.
Yep. Or the scream. It's just a lot of little things. I guess the scream he wouldn't have known on night one if that even happened, but I don't know. I just don't get a good feeling about it at all.
And here it's 8:24 and no suspect or vehicle.
Right.
All right, I'm going to just keep going.
8:24 p.m. TBI, no suspect or vehicle. TBI tweeted this tweet. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and TBI will hold a short media briefing at 4 p.m. ET to provide an update for the search of Summer Wells. So the location will be at Salmon's Temple Missionary Baptist Church, located at the address. The search for 5-year-old Summer Wells continues this evening. Many of you are asking if we have a suspect or a vehicle description. We do not. Should we develop that type of information, we will share it with you immediately. By 10:04 p.m. on June 16, 30 tips so far were given to TBI. TBI said in a tweet that they had received 30 tips as of Wednesday evening, over 24 hours after Summer was first reported missing. Thursday, June 17th, 1 p.m. press conference. Officials held their second press conference. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said, everybody is a person of interest and everything is on the table regarding the investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells. TBI spokesperson Leslie Earhart said the circumstances surrounding her disappearance remained unclear. She added that if investigators did develop information that the child was taken and develop a suspect and a vehicle description, that information would be immediately shared with the public. Ground search crews had covered 1 mile radius around Summers' residence so far. Crews hope to have a 2 mile radius covered by the end of the day.
So they've already gone around a mile around the property, and they haven't said a word about the red truck.
Right.
So we get to that red truck, but other than the red truck, I mean, everything at this point has remained the same. Everything that they say, they always use the term unclear, and it's literally, that's exactly what it is. But the one thing that is proceeding at this point is they have search, crews, and they're looking, and they go into more detail of all that. Anything you wanted to say at this point?
I was just going to say, okay, the neighbor hearing the scream, you would think that on Tuesday night, when there's this heavy police presence and Summer is reported missing, wouldn't you think if this whole scream thing is true, the neighbor would have walked over to the police presence and said, hey, I heard a scream around the time she went missing or whatever, and brought that to their attention, and it would have been, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't come out and publicly say it, but I don't know, that scream just bothers me. Like how Candace mentioned it, and then Dawn didn't mention it until later, but I don't know that. What do you think about that? Like, I just think if a neighbor heard it, she would have, or he would have said something about it to the officers on that night.
That's the thing. And it's like, usually you would have eyewitnesses or something like that coming out saying on the news or something, like, I was in my, kitchen and blah, 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 blah. But then if we're saying that something is involved with dangerous people, like, if Don owes dangerous people money, would they be protecting an eyewitness, or not even an eyewitness, but an ear witness? No, just kidding.
Right.
Would they feel like they needed to protect who this person was who would make that statement?
True. And
or does it even matter because it's just somebody who heard something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point. Raven is saying it was her and her daughter that reported the screaming. So, like I said, I have been trying to keep up with everything, but I missed that the initial report came from the neighbor and her daughter. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. I want to look more into that.
Yeah, that would be interesting to just do as a topic.
Yeah. And then K9's comment, it's possible the neighbors are used to hearing screams, Yeah, that's true. Well, another thing, remember when Dawn said that this was early on, he was saying they're not doing well. He said that the police actually ran up to the house because the boys were fighting and they were being so loud or whatever that it caused the police to come up to the house. So, yeah, maybe that's not out of the norm.
Perhaps.
Okay, so Peggy.
Over 48 hours since the first.
What was that?
Okay, sorry, I was going to say Peggy Sue said she did tell the police that she thought it was just the kids playing. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to note that. I just want to look more into that.
Yeah. There's a lot to comb through, even though it's all in the details like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at this point, it feels like we don't know anything for certain, and that's what we're pulling out with all this. And the screen would be something to know, like, what is the statement on that? Yes. Other than what, Candace and Don have said.
Right.
First reported missing. Officials said they received and pursued about 50 leads so far. Summers' father issues first statement. Don Wells, Summers' father, said in a statement to WJHL that...
Now, this is just a statement, which is what I've figured out, too, is, we all see Don Wells' first interview, like on TV or whatever. But apparently before he did that, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but it seems as though they, maybe over the phone or something, and this is his first statement over the phone.
Okay, interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
sure you've heard it.
yeah, his first interview on the camera, he had his son, one of his sons with him and had his hand on him the whole time. And I know everyone immediately, there was a lot of speculation on that situation.
Yeah,
So,
I think I included that. So maybe this quote is from that, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
yeah, I think you might be right, and this might be before that,
Interesting.
but I don't
Just
know.
something we're combing through, and like
Yeah,
I said, like this, Kelly and I were just brainstorming together live.
yep.
That Summer would never leave our hill and that he believes someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. We know that there's people praying all around the world, praying for her safe return. So many people love her. She would never leave our hill. I think that someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. I don't think she's in the area because the dog goes down to the road and that's the end of the trail. But I don't know that for a fact. The way that she just disappeared, she would never do that.
So sorry. I got like distracted as I was reading that because the baby, and I was like, should I re-record it? But I'm like, no, I'm not going to. So I'll just pause it and we can just re-look at it. But so this is the first statement. She would never leave the hill. Like instantly, you
Yep.
know, that's something that they want to make sure everyone knows. And that's pretty much, I feel like, a main narrative in the story by Dawn and Candace at first.
I agree. They both were very adamant that she wouldn't leave. And that always has stuck out to me. Um, they just said from the beginning, I think somebody came up here and took her.
Hmm. And then, so now we get into the whole, pretty much, he's saying snuck up on her and grabbed her. So this would require, obviously, all the obstacles like everyone else has already broken down, and you and I know, like the dogs, the Candace, her mother, the boys, etc. During the day. So we would have to imagine somebody sneaking up. So
Yep.
I just like get a visual of that, but I don't think she's in the area. Goes down to the road, and that's the end of the trail. So what is he's saying already that the tracking dogs went down to the road from where? So I'm just trying to get like an understanding. Is he talking about from the driveway or the
Right.
dog trail?
See, in my opinion, okay, if I had heard this without knowing what we know now, I wouldn't know what to think. But I'm leaning towards when he says trail, I'm thinking that dog trail, aka basically a drug corridor, you know. That's kind of where my mind goes.
Yeah,
But he's just not very clear.
I don't think she's in the area. So already he pretty much is saying like vehicle went
Yep.
in the vehicle, but we still don't have a vehicle given to us by TBI or a witness or anything at this point. So that's just a little bit conflicting in a way. Like if we're looking at it from what they know and what he's theorizing.
Right. And I don't know, I don't want to get too off topic, but I just feel if there were people, hanging around the property or these drug users that would come there, etc., I hope that maybe he didn't tell the media that, but I do hope, I wonder if he reported that to law enforcement right away.
Well, if he says instantly, I want to go talk to these drug dealers.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, they're thinking, why is he comfortable enough to just go to these like drug dealers around here?
Yeah.
And two, I don't know. I'm sure it was definitely a red flag.
And then you probably have this, but don't they, law enforcement has said there is no evidence that she was abducted. at one point.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Exactly. And we have to be able to have an open mind, which you and I always do. And people who followed us know that we are very open minded. But then at the same time, you have to put in statistics and just kind of common sense and visualize what's being said and play out like, is that likely?
Yeah, because again, if you're going off of the last sighting of Summer told by Candace, her mother, it's that she went inside to play with her toys, and the brothers say she went to the basement. If you've watched the interview room, he went through the home, went into the basement, and it would either be Summer had to step outside that door, and then the timing was correct and she was taken, which would be risky in my opinion, or somebody would have had to come to the basement door. But it's like, how did that person know she was in the basement? I don't know. So I think if she was taken by somebody, she would have stepped outside that door and been taken. And then you have the whole thing, was the door locked or not? That's a whole nother topic, but
Yeah.
it's a lot.
That's like the screen topic. It's just like you have to iron out that specific.
Yep.
Was the door locked? Was it not? Because that's already a conflicting statement. But yeah, so they would have to have known the property, in my opinion.
I agree.
But I don't know that for a fact. The way that she just disappeared, she would never do that. 1 p.m. on June 17th, search teams said steep and dangerous terrain, including dense canopy coverage and ground coverage, were hampering their efforts. Poor cell phone service was also making it difficult for them to communicate. TBI tweeted on June 17th, "These photos give you an idea of the difficult terrain teams are dealing with during the search for the 5-year-old Summer Wells."
I thought that was kind of interesting that TBI said that.
Right. It's like they just, I don't know. I don't know. That is interesting.
Maybe, like, am I overthinking it?
I think they were maybe just trying to relay to the public that it's not like she went missing from a neighborhood with,
yes,
they're in the mountains,
Yeah, like they're emphasizing that, and they're relaying the message to the public, like, this is what this little girl would have been facing if she decided to wander off randomly one day after never doing it. Yeah. And, at this point, they've gone past a mile of the radius of the home.
Right. And then, just kind of also, it's not great terrain for, like, a lot of people kind of gave them flack because they weren't letting the public help. But like the sheriff was saying, we can't have the public civilians going out there and getting hurt or lost or whatever.
Right. Because then
the gravity of it all. Yeah.
That's true. They know what they're doing. Like, even though to me, it almost didn't make sense. And I remember asking, like, why wouldn't they let the church, search? Yeah. And then, you realize, like, oh, wait, wow, things are different than the bubble that I live in. And I've seen the terrain and I'm like, wow, okay. And I know that it gets super hot for you guys down there. So,
yeah, and humid and just sad to imagine where she
and this is June, right? Yes, this is beginning of summer. Boom.
Mm-hmm. At 8:40 p.m. June 17th, TBI sends out another tweet. As of this evening, teams have searched more than 680 acres. Summer Wells is still missing. We continue to urge residents who live near Ben Hill Road to check their trail or surveillance cameras for video or photos of Summer. Friday, June 18th, Summer's father speaks on camera to reporters. Speaking to reporters, Summer's father, Don Wells, thanked the community and the emergency personnel searching for Summer. Wells also spoke about the evening his daughter was reported missing. She was planting flowers with her mother and her grandmother, and she wanted to go into the house. So my wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house. And the boys were on the internet, of course, and she wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys. So when her mother came in and she says, Summer, and she went down into the basement, she didn't answer. So she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
So this is the bullet points from that video, which I think we end up watching anyways, but there, right there, and I'm sure you caught it too. He says that the basement door was unlocked.
Right. But then you hear in Candace's interview with Chris that all the doors were locked, nobody in, nobody out. But yeah, it could have became unlocked between them getting home and when she went down there. Or Summer could have unlocked it. But then Dawn later says he doesn't know if it was locked or not.
Yeah.
So just something or nothing. He could just be unsure, or there's deceit.
Sometimes you forget or mix things up, but the first initial statements are here.
Yep.
So he's thinking at that point, right when it happened, that they're unlocked.
Yes.
June 18th, Summer's father spoke to media outlets for the first time, saying he was at work when Summer went missing. When I got home, I drove to the bottom of the property and I realized that all my neighbors and stuff were combing the woods looking for her, and I realized right then and there that she was not there, Wells told the Times News. I knew right then and there that she was gone because she would never leave there on her own. Somebody had taken her.
Are you still there, Amber? I don't hear you.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, you're fine. I just wasn't sure if something happened.
No, I was just saying that this comment makes you wonder, because if Don's at work and he's initially saying that the door is unlocked, it makes you wonder, is it because he just wants that narrative to get across immediately, or was he not at work? Like, how is he so certain that the door was unlocked?
Yeah, or did Candace tell him that? Where did he get that information? Did he check it and it was unlocked and that's what he's saying? It's a good point.
Right.
At 2:30 p.m., officials held their third press conference since Summer was reported missing. They announced that more resources were brought in to assist in the search, including a dive team, hazardous terrain search team, urban search and rescue team, and the state's tactical radio system. Thursday's search effort involved more than 100 people from 41 agencies. Searchers had covered 688 acres and received 85 tips so far. They would cover around 1,000 acres by the end of the day. TBI Public Information Officer Leslie Earhart said all avenues are being explored regarding the circumstances behind Summer's disappearance. She also encouraged people to not share speculation and rumors on social media. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said that no search warrants had been issued, as every search so far had been conducted with the consent of the property owner. At 7 p.m., a vigil.
So I think that's interesting too. Pretty much, they didn't have to get a search warrant. Everyone's been helping pretty much and not opposing.
Yeah, and as far as we know, the family let them search. They've always said the family has been cooperative, so we know that from the start.
Right. But if we're going to think about the text messages that got, or the messages that got leaked today, then it's like, does that explain why there's been so willing, I mean, nothing's been found around them pretty much,
Right.
even miles outside of their property.
And that's the thing. I mean, if again, speculation, theory, if you believe that DW, CW, the parents, family, whatever, set up some kind of, I hate to even go down this road or say it, but some type of cell, or this is some type of trafficking or planned abduction type thing, then, like you just said, Amber, it makes sense why they'd be like, here, go ahead. They know she's not there. So they're going to let him go on. They're going to be cooperative. But I also
just a
wonder,
theory.
I also wonder about the phones. Like, I don't know about tracker, or what are they called? Track phones, to go phones, pay as you go phones.
Yeah.
We know Grandma Candace had one because H mentioned how she was putting minutes on it. So I just wonder if that changes anything when they're searching their electronic records, if they could have had one that they got rid of before she went missing that they did communication on, things like that.
Yeah, that's another thing. And I almost feel like it does matter.
Yeah.
But again, just something to look into to kind of really know, like, okay, so then was there a way that they could have been communicating where it wouldn't have been tracked?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, burner
Good point.
Yeah. And I know my husband is in social work. Like, he has worked with people out of, they know certain ways to kind of evade, in my opinion. And I think burner phones is a good one. They like to use in certain cases. So just something to think about.
And something else to kind of just talk about real quick with you is, in speculation, of course, but if you're somebody who runs to Mexico and back and you're a runner, but you don't actually run it, you actually use it. If this is just something that goes on, would you know about having a burner phone or not?
Right.
Vigil was held in Rogersville for summer. At 8:47 p.m., Bianca from WJHL tweeted, Donald Wells recalls the terror he felt when he found out his daughter, 5-year-old Summer Wells, was missing Tuesday afternoon. A Rogersville church opened its doors Friday evening for those wanting to pray for Summer about 72 hours after her disappearance. Summer's father, Don Wells, and one of her brothers attended the vigil. Don said he was at work when his wife called him to tell him that Summer was missing on Tuesday and that he had rushed home to find his boys and neighbors searching for his daughter. June 19th, TBI shared photographs of Summer's house and property where she was last seen. Saturday, June 19th.
So June 19th, TBI pretty much is saying that she was last seen on the property. Whereas before they had said outside. But that was before they upped it to the Amber Alert.
Right.
And I just wanted to, I know that people who watch us all the time know that we just brainstorm and speculate. And I just wanted to let people know that we are just speculating and we are just going through the timeline and we just want to figure out what could have happened. So I didn't want to offend anybody if it sounds like we're implicating certain people. We're just speculating the different avenues.
Yeah, absolutely.
113 tips as the search continues. The TBI said it had received 113 tips as of Saturday afternoon as searchers continued the search for Summer. The agency also shared more photo of Wells' residence. TBI's tweet says, as of this afternoon, authorities have received 113 tips. Please continue to share her photo and information. TBI also tweeted, 5-year-old Summer Wells went missing from this property. Anyone with information regarding her disappearance is asked to call 1-800 TBI Fine. Every detail, no matter how insignificant you think it may be, is important. Please help us bring her home. Hawkins County 911 announced that a statewide call-out was requested through the Tennessee Association of Rescue Squads for Sunday regarding the search for Summer. Ground crews were seen combing a field with flashlights Saturday night as a helicopter flew overhead. The TBI said that its agents and Hawkins County investigators responded to the location near Beach Creek Road to follow up on a lead, but Summer remained missing. Sunday, June 20th, search continues. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation announced that it had received 137 tips as of Sunday afternoon. Summer Wells has not been found and has been missing for 5 days. According to Hawkins County Rescue Squad, 35 agencies from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, North Carolina, and Georgia assisted in the search Sunday. About 2,400 acres had been searched since Tuesday night.
I think that that's just an important note to kind of grasp as well. So this is Sunday, June 20th. It's only been 5 days, and these are all the agencies helping.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot in the, they really did look around, it's just so sad
Right.
that they found nothing.
And the fact that they didn't find anything kind of makes you frustrated on the outside, and you're wondering, like, how good are they looking?
Yeah.
But clearly, and I don't mean to sound critical because obviously they're looking, but this really like made me feel confident in the fact that like she did not wander off, or she was not wherever taken and then disposed of someplace around them.
Right.
June 20th, TBI tweeted, "These are just a few of the agencies that have assisted in the search for Summer Wells since Tuesday. Nearly 70 agencies from across Tennessee and several states have joined together and continue to work tirelessly." TBI also tweeted, "As of Sunday afternoon, authorities have received 137 tips related to the Amber Alert of Summer Wells. Please continue to share her photo. She was reported missing at approximately 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 15th. At 5:14 p.m., June 20th, TBI tweeted another Amber Alert and picture of Summer. The Hawkins County Rescue Squad posted around 10 p.m., stating that due to overwhelming support, they were pausing the acceptance of supply donations for search crews. The logistics team will determine after Monday's search if donations are still needed. Monday, June 21st, tips stream in. The TBI told News Channel 11 Monday morning that total number of tips sent in regarding the possible whereabouts of Summer Wells had reached 150. 4 p.m. press conference. Officials announced that Summer Wells remained missing. Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson pleaded with landowners to check any places where a child could hide, including outbuildings and barns. Monday's search effort was impacted by strong and severe thunderstorms that rolled through the area. TBI tweeted on June 21st, "The community and local businesses have been amazing during the search of Summer Wells. These photos show only a small amount of the food, drinks, and other items donated for the search teams and law enforcement over the last 6 days." Teams have endured extreme heat and rough terrain, but say giving up isn't an option. June 22nd.
So to me, it seems like the community has been really willing to help and all that.
Yeah, definitely agree.
1 week after Summer's disappearance, TBI reported.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to say they even had to cut off the donations, basically, because they had an overwhelming amount. I mean, that That says a lot.
Yep.
Reported receiving at least 221 tips. Investigators continue to push residents in the area to check their barns and crawl spaces for places a child might hide.
So 221 tips in just a week.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, what are these tips?
I know. What are they saying?
And it's only been like, if you're talking about this many tips in just a week, the fact that we're wondering what's going on, it's like, hopefully it's taken them a minute because they're going through everything and obviously meeting with RSOs and all that.
Right. I mean, that's my hope right now. That, I do obviously believe law enforcement knows more. I am just hoping they know a lot more and they're staying quiet while they're slowly building a case against whoever it may be. Whether it's the family, whether it was a stranger, whether it was someone who knew the family that we've heard from, whoever it may be, I hope that law enforcement is working and building a solid enough case with evidence where they can make an arrest and charges will stick with or without, finding Summer in whatever way she may be found. Obviously, I hope she's found alive and well, but
Right.
if not, I still hope someone's held accountable if there's foul play.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, she's not around the home, even this many acres out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm confident in that fact.
Right.
So then it's like, if we really need to know the timeline from Candace, Grandma, and Hunter, as far as like being able to rely on their truth of it. You know what I mean?
Agree. And then I know I've said this before, but the brothers who are home as well, again, we understand why we're not hearing from them. They are minors, but they are key witnesses in this case. They supposedly, were there from the time Summer arrived home with Mom and Grandma, helped put some groceries away, saw Summer come in and then go play. So what exactly happened? How was Summer acting? How was Mom? How was Grandma acting? I want to know all of that from the brothers' point of view. And Dawn obviously has said they've been interviewed at a special place for kids, etc. So what have they said?
Yeah. And that one interview that we see of him with his son, I wonder if it's the same one that went with him to the vigil.
I wonder, yeah, that's interesting.
Specialized searches in the Beech Creek community carried on. Tuesday, June 22nd, search continues. Tuesday marked 1 week since Summer Wells was reported missing. As of Tuesday, the search effort involved 82 agencies from several states. Officials said 4.6 square miles and about 3,000 acres had been searched so far. On June 22nd, TBI tweeted, "Property owners in the Beech Creek area are urged to check barns, crawl spaces, and other places a child could hide. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office will send an officer to assist residents who aren't physically able to search those spaces." TBI also tweeted, "To date, teams have covered 4.6 square miles in the search for Summer Wells. Tim Coop is the incident commander for ground search operations. He says after today, the search for Summer Wells will continue with a focus on specific areas using specialized teams." 5:07 p.m. June 22nd, TBI tweets, "Agents and detectives are seen here conducting a grid search in the field not far from Ben Hill Road. This is one of the main methods used in the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells." June 23rd, investigators set up a roadblock to ask drivers if they noticed anything unusual on the day Summer Wells disappeared. Wednesday, June 23rd, 304 tips so far. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said it had received 304 tips so far. None resulted in a significant development in the case. 2 community members are offering rewards in the search for Summer Wells. Thursday, June 24th, 4 p.m. press conference. Investigators said the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of missing Hawkins County 5-year-old Summer Wells remained unclear and called.
So I was just going through chat in the live and just reading good comments, and I just seen something go back and forth between Karen and the analyst, and Karen's 56 said it had to be someone she knew. And then the analyst said, yes, that's why she didn't scream. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I do feel if she was abducted, in my opinion, I think it was somebody that Summer had seen before. That's just my opinion. As somebody who knew the property, maybe been hanging out there, someone from, I don't know, a religious organization.
Yeah, that makes sense that they
I
would
don't know.
know the property, obviously. If it's a very unique terrain and all that, let alone property. So it had to have been someone clearly who knew everything. So that's almost something that we can almost agree on as like a certainty.
Yes. And I've seen a couple people, bring up Barry Morphew, Julie Johnson. It takes time, the Barry Morphew BM case. Yeah, exactly. So let's all hope and pray that that's what is going on here. They're quiet because they know and they have a strong ball rolling on building a case against whoever had anything to do with it.
Right. And if we are talking about something international, which is obviously theory and speculation, and if that message is even factual, just to play devil's advocate, I have to question it just because people are going to say, how do you even know? But it's something to think about anyways. But if it is real, then if it's international, then obviously that would take time to put together.
Yep.
Called that outside of the norm for a missing child case. TBI spokesperson Leslie Earhart noted that investigators cannot share everything that they are doing in order to preserve the investigation. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said, "You'd have to work very hard to find somebody we haven't talked to."
I thought that was interesting to for the sheriff to reiterate.
Yes.
And hi, Amanda.
Hello.
I just wanted to say hi. But you know what I mean? Because he wants everyone to know, like, everyone that we've looked at around here, we've contacted everybody. We've talked to everyone in the area. And that's what he wants the public to know at that point.
Right. And so that's coming from the sheriff, Sheriff Lawson. But then we have Dawn saying he's still out searching and certain people weren't interested in letting him. So again, I don't know. It's just, you hope that they really were able to do a real thorough search on people's property.
Yeah. Right. And like we've seen in that post with the donations and all that, it seemed like I personally have a hard time imagining, but then at the same time, it almost seemed like Don was referring to drug areas.
Yeah.
So if you have again, I don't know what goes on. I'm just speculating. If you have a meth lab on your property and you don't want people going through, could that be a possibility? And he's saying, like, this is where she could be. That's even more interesting because it's like, really? You think she's there? Why?
Right. Yeah.
Those areas are obviously dangerous even for law enforcement to decide to go through because they don't know what's on the other. Anytime they go to a door, they don't know what's on the other side of it, So I just don't find the correlation between why would she be in these like meth lab druggy areas that Don's describing.
Right.
And I thought she was far away at this point.
Yeah, yeah. And he had posted on his Facebook about Mexico and the border and everything. So
Oh my God.
it's just a lot.
Lawson said the family
Yeah.
remained very cooperative with law enforcement. Friday, June 25th, 394 tips so far. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation revealed it had received nearly 400 tips, but none had resulted in new developments in the case. More than 100 agencies across the state and the nation have assisted in the search through treacherous terrain and high grass to locate Summer. News Channel 11 obtained audio from emergency scanners the night Summer Wells was reported missing. Summer's mother released new pictures of Summer. Although Summer's mother, Candace Bly, hasn't spoken to News Channel 11 on camera, Bly and her mother, Summer's maternal grandmother, released statements Friday afternoon. Bring my grandbaby home. She is a lovely baby, and we're so thankful for everyone looking for her. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. She's gone. It's devastating.
I just wanted to pause that there. So this is Grandma's first statement, June 25th, which you've seen, but some people didn't realize that until recently that she had spoken at this point it has been, 10 days?
Yeah. After, yep.
Which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But again, who knows how you would react, and this could be triggering for her, obviously, because her own daughter went missing, which is something else that I just need to just play into statistics and the odds that it would happen again. I'm not sure the exact details on Candace's sister's disappearance, but those things obviously can happen. So now it's like, what are the odds that would happen again, twice in one family, where it's something, it's just something that I just go back and forth about, like what would I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess I don't think that the cases are related. I don't think you do either, but
Mm-mm.
I mean, I guess you could say it could play into how grandmom is reacting. Because I agree that Incognito Gypsy said it sounds so final, and I agree. She's like, she's just gone. We tried, but she's gone. We yelled, but she's gone. It just seems very final and not hopeful. But could the fact that she's been through this with her own daughter and 11 years has gone by and she's not been found, could that kind of play into grandma's reaction and even Candace's reaction? I don't know.
Yeah, and just the fact that, I don't know, did you think it was weird that she called a 5-year-old baby twice? Well, grandbaby, that's normal.
Yeah. That one didn't stick out to me too much.
She's a lovely, I don't know.
She doesn't use her name. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, and then she leaves. So if we're talking about like somebody so scared that they had to leave,
mm-hmm.
What did she witness really?
Yeah. Say this is something, and she was in fear because she knows more, but is afraid to say. I mean, we just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I want her to do a statement, obviously, but she hasn't yet. I mean, a public, interview type thing.
Yeah, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Summer's mother, Candace Bly, said the following: I know she would never wander off this hill alone. A family and friend spoke on camera and said that the family is thankful for those who have continued searching for Summer. June 26, TBI asked for the driver of a Toyota pickup truck to come forward after a witness reported seeing.
So sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I just wanted to ask the family friend, I believe it was the David guy.
What did it say? I missed it.
No, you're fine.
Missed it.
It just said a family friend had come forward to thank the public or something like that.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
he's from the church.
Yeah, he's the one who, I believe it was David, because he did an interview and then at some point, and he was the one that was on Unmasked. But that's who I think they were talking about.
Yeah, I think you're right for sure. Which, you know what? I don't know how you feel about it, but I want to go through all the interviews.
Oh yeah, David, the flute loop, Monica.
Okay, yeah. Let's do it. Even if it's on your channel, like let's
Either
go through them all.
way, yeah.
But so K9 said I'm leaning heavily towards a cover up because if an accident at the home, that's what I'd been leaning towards for a while, but I can't be certain without certain details, like including the cell phone data. And I want to see the drug tests. I don't want to just hear if they passed or failed. All that plays into what obviously I would conclude with. But if those messages today are real that was shared and we're going down certain avenues, I'm just like, I'm starting to lean towards something other than what I thought in the beginning. And that's just the way it is. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. Really adore the time you lovely ladies are putting into this case. Thank you, CDT and Amber. Yeah, it's just taken a hold. Didn't expect it at all. And I'm sure everyone kind of feels the same. It's just so many mystery avenues with this case.
Yep.
So I just realized on the screen, June 26th, finally we hear something about the maroon truck.
Yeah, so that 11 days later.
Yeah, that is crazy. And here's the other thing before I play it. I still don't understand how it was reported.
I don't either. Because some people were saying that on the video I did on the red truck, and they're like, where did this initially come from?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was wondering too. So I'm reading this through, and I have more than one news source, and I'm like, I still don't understand. So help me, I guess, in chat if you guys can help too.
Seen it in the Beach Creek area in the late afternoon or early evening on June 14th or June 15th. Officials said the person may have.
That's just weird too. So they want the driver to come forward after a witness reported seeing it in the area late afternoon or early evening, but it says June 14th or June 15th. So now this is weird. Were they staking out? And this is theory, speculation, opinion, just picking everyone's brain. If this is saying it was seen around the 14th, then were people kind of scoping out the area?
Mm-hmm. Good point.
May have seen something related to Summer's disappearance. The truck was described as a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack along with white buckets in the truck bed. To date, the driver has not been found. Saturday, June 26, potential witness sought. The TBI put out a notice hoping to get in contact with a potential witness who may have been driving in a Toyota pickup truck near the Wells home close to the time Summer disappeared. The pickup was described as possibly a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack with white buckets in the.
But then they're calling this person a witness to something else.
Right.
So even if we're going down different theories, it's like, well, they're not saying that was a suspicious vehicle. They're not even like getting that point across to any of us.
Mm-mm.
So to me, it's almost like, I don't think in a way that they were scoping out the area, because wouldn't they have gotten that point across that it was a suspicious vehicle? Or, why do they want to talk to this person and wonder what they saw? Because this is just a witness to something else.
Yeah, unless they're trying to make them feel safe to come forward. I don't know.
Right, kind of distance.
Yeah, and
in
then
a safe way.
You have Don on voices behind the wall. You have his version of this truck, and it's all over the place. And then she had him correct it, and he's like, no, I wasn't talking about that time. It's all so frustrating with this truck. And then um, what Dawn had to say
Mhm.
on her channel, and it's like, what in the world? But yeah, I mean, law enforcement is bringing up this truck for a reason, you know? But where did it
Mhm.
come from and how?
And why? So here's the thing, too. If they are a witness to something else, then somebody said that they were witness to it. So it's like somebody's protected who told law enforcement or somebody the tip that a red truck might have seen something else, right?
Right. Yeah.
Unless they saw on a camera a red truck close to something else that was weird. You know what I mean?
Right. And then going back to this, they mentioned the roadblocks, but it seemed like they brought up the roadblocks happening a few days later. And then that's something that even Don stated, that he was frustrated. He didn't feel like they were looking outside of the property, they were solely focused on the property. Um, so it just makes me wonder, when did they check drivers and what all happened,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, they talk about, hold on, we'll get there.
Okay.
in the bed. The driver was not identified but is not considered a suspect. Investigators stress that they just hope to find out if the driver saw or heard anything on June 14th or June 15th when they were in the area. June 27th, officials announced they are scaling back search operations. Sunday, June 27th, scaling back the search. After 12 days and 500 leads that led to no developments, crews announced that they were scaling back the search for Summer Wells. A release from Incident Commander Tim Coop said, the rough search terrain and extreme conditions physically and mentally exhausted his crews. Although the search will still continue, officials will begin to rely on sources from Middle and West Tennessee as well as out-of-state resources. Scope of the search. The release also included the following information about the search. The search had utilized over 120 agencies from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina. Since June 15th, 1,150 searches had covered the ground. The 13,800 search hours had been logged. TBI fixed wing flew 21.2 hours. The THP helicopter logged 30 hours of flight. Numerous specialized search and rescue groups included, but not limited to, Tennessee Task Force 2, BUSAR, Appalachian Mountain Rescue, Black Diamond, SCSAR, Central Carolina SAR, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, RATSAR, the Search and Rescue Tracking Institute, and numerous canine teams. 4.6 miles, over 3,000 acres had been searched since Summer went missing. Tip count increases to 518. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation told News Channel 11 that the number of tips about the disappearance of Summer Wells had climbed over 500. Monday, June 28th, mother speaks on camera for the first time. Summer Wells' mother recounts events leading up to the daughter's disappearance. The mother of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells spoke with News Channel 11 in an exclusive interview Monday night, the first time she had publicly spoken. Reward fund finalized. The Churchill Rescue Squad released details on how to contribute to the reward fund for information leading to Summer Wells. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation reported that it received more than 560 tips. Thursday, July 1st, Captain Tim Coop announced that 2,350 had been donated to the reward fund. 2 people wrote checks for $25,000 and $10,000, but Coop said the checks would not be deposited into the account unless asked to do so by those who wrote them. Monday, July 5th. According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, there have been 799 tips sent into the TBI, but none of which have led to any solid answers regarding Summer's whereabouts as her disappearance reaches the 3-week mark. This lead count number was updated at 4 p.m. on Monday. The TBI has yet to identify the driver of the red-maroon Toyota Tacoma that was allegedly in the Beech Creek area around the same time Summer was last seen. The agency has stressed the driver is not a suspect, but he or she is a potential witness that might have seen something that could direct the investigation to a lead.
So they think that that person could direct the investigation to a lead. That's kind of big.
That is big. I agree. I would like to know, okay, remember how Dawn talked about the red truck and there was some woman in it who looked like she hadn't brushed her hair in a long time? He stated, there was an officer there that morning. So I would like to know if that really happened and that officer really did witness the truck and Dawn, what do you say? He helps like jump the car or move it or something.
Yeah, that needs to be ironed out for me too, because I'm kind of like, wait, what?
I know. And I have a video with that, but it's like he was kind of all over the place. And then he came out and changed the story and said he was talking about a different day. So, again, maybe there is something to all of that. And that there was an officer who witnessed Don's interaction with a red truck near his property and witnessed something with that. I don't know, but that I'm with you. I want to iron all that out a little bit more to the best of our ability. 'Cause it stuck out to me big time.
Yep, and it's all the details.
Yeah.
On June 26, TBI tweeted the following: "We are asking for your assistance in reaching out to a potential witness in the area of Ben Hill Road on the afternoon that Summer Wells went missing." On June 20,
So that said the afternoon. I'm
Right.
confused.
Yeah, and in my opinion, 6:30 is evening. Okay, another thing that I've used in a few videos, Amber, this always has bothered me. In one of the press conferences, that Leslie lady, I cannot remember her last name. I think she's TBI. They ask her, "Have you been able to narrow down a timeline?" And she states something I can't really remember, but she said, "We know the last time Summer was seen was early afternoon, and she was reported missing around 6:30." And that has always stuck out to me. The last time Summer was seen was early afternoon. And now this is saying afternoon as well.
Exactly. And I think that we see it again later in some videos too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just something noted.
28th, TBI tweeted, "The investigation into the disappearance of 5-year-old Summer Wells remains ongoing. As of this afternoon, authorities have received more than 560 tips. Please call 1-800-TBI-FINE with credible information." July 1st, the Polk County Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin told WJHL Summer's disappearance renewed interest in the case of her missing aunt Rose Marie Bly, who vanished in Polk County in 2009. July 2nd, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson told WJHL they have received no solid leads from over 750 tips called in. July 11th, Lawson told the Times News Summer's case is nowhere even close to being cold. July 12th, TBI confirmed they've received 935 tips regarding Summer's disappearance. In a recorded video, Lawson told the public everything is still on the table.
Now, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said tonight crews are searching.
So here's the thing, though, because that kind of ends the timeline as far as the news clippings, and then it kind of starts over with other media sources with video. But I just wanted to say, like, as far as since then, like, we don't have anything new.
Exactly. We've not heard anything from an official source since this, basically.
And I was like, should I just keep going with the timeline? And I'm like, wait, there's nothing else that TBI has reported or the sheriff besides everything still on the table. Everyone's still a suspect.
Mm-hmm. No one's been cleared.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like what you did with the picture, how Candace was she updated her profile picture. And of course, it doesn't mean that that picture was taken right then, but if she's uploading a picture at what, 6:09 p.m. the
Yeah,
day, it's like,
and then it was deleted.
yeah, why delete it if you have nothing to hide? Be like, yeah, I got on my phone for a second. That was before she went inside, or, we were planting flowers and I got on my phone. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. Not saying
It
that she did
is weird.
anything, but it makes
And
me.
that's posted before the 911 call.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we can rely on as far as digital timeline.
Yep. Very true.
Even if we don't have the 911 call, we can rely on this odd behavior. I mean, not that we're behavior analysts or professionals that can comment on like body language or whatever. This isn't even body language, but you know what I mean? It's just kind of questionable behavior. But it is something that we can rely on as far as like, so how were you searching for her and calling for her if you're on whatchamacallit? Because I feel like they say that they tried to look for her themselves and then they called 911.
Yeah, they definitely did say that they looked for a little while. And even I know that Leslie, I hate that I can't remember her last name, but I remember she says that they did look for a little bit and then called. So, again, what was the exact timeline? How long did they look? Things like
Yeah,
that.
and even if this wasn't even that day, it's like even more weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's weird either way.
there's a couple steps. I mean, when you change a profile picture, so you have to locate this picture wherever it was. You go through, click, 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 and do it. I mean, it takes a few minutes. So,
And what's interesting too is if we're talking about an accident potentially, dirt bikes and all that. I mean, I'm just coming up with this right now just because he's got his dirt bike gear on. Was this a real photo taken that day? Maybe not at that time, that second, but was this taken after they got home with the groceries or whatever?
right. And then I like Amanda's comment. Was it posted because the boy hurt Summer and she thought he was going to go to jail, right? I mean, I've seen that maybe that's a theory. Maybe one of the boys accidentally did something to Summer and they covered it up. That's a
Right.
theory. And yeah, maybe she was in a way had her mind on the boy and wanted, I don't know, but I see kind of where you're going with that thought process, Amanda. I really do. So I don't know.
Hi, Mrs. Kurt Cobain. Thanks for being here. She said, hi, Amber and CDT. I'm just getting in. Sorry I'm late. You're fine.
I like
We're
that picture. That's Kurt up there.
I know. The smile.
I know.
All right. So just something I threw in there. Actually, I thought I'd taken it out because I knew that we were going to go on and on about it, but I know that we could continue it, but we'll carry on. So now it goes back into the news clips from when she went missing, and the first one is that evening.
Okay.
Now, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said tonight crews are searching for 4-year-old Summer Wells. Here's a photo of Summer released from authorities tonight. She's described as being 4 foot tall with blonde hair. We've learned she was last seen around 7 o'clock tonight. Again, you're looking at a couple of images of Summer that were shared by local authorities who tonight are involved in that search.
Yeah, again, the search is underway. This is in the Beach Creek community in the area of Ben Hill Road and Beach Creek Road. This is in Hawkins County. Tonight, crews are searching on the ground. Helicopters are scanning overhead. We are told that police have blocked off roadways in that area in order for them to do a comprehensive.
So I just wanted to note that they've, at this point, when this was in the evening news, they've already stated that they've done roadblocks.
Okay. So that's good.
So if they're doing roadblocks before the evening news, that's sounds immediate to me in a way.
I agree.
Intensive search.
That's right. Earlier tonight, around 7 o'clock, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson says this 4-year-old little girl named Summer Wells, and maybe we can show you the photo of her again here in just a moment, that she was last seen walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road. And that was the last she was seen. And now we know that a massive search is underway, not only a search on the ground with authorities from Hawkins County, rescue squad and personnel, local volunteer fire departments, but also THP, we hear, is in the air tonight looking for the little girl in that area. Big search underway.
Yeah, she really needs to be found, obviously. She was last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray shorts, and we were told that she was seen walking from her home on that road.
So obviously we've talked about this. Videos have been made about it. Everyone talks about it in the Facebook groups. These, the image of her walking away from her home is what I don't understand, because it just said she was seen walking away from her home. By who?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where did that come from?
Right.
And then you go back, I was just going to say, to the dispatch and how it said father advised mother had went for a walk, came back, and she was gone. It makes you wonder, I mean, could there have been some type of miscommunication? But yeah, who reported her? I agree, Raven 73, who reported her as walking away from the home. That's interesting.
It's one or two things. It's either misreporting, which kind of goes along with miscommunication, or it's stories changing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's either or.
Right.
Bianca Murray tonight is in Hawkins County with the latest on the search.
Tonight, emergency crews from around Hawkins County have converged on this rural community near Church Hill. They're looking for 4-year-old Summer Wells. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said she was last seen walking from her home on Ben Hill Road off Beach Creek Road, not far from here, around 7 tonight. She was.
Did she just say Ronnie Lawson said she was seen?
Yeah, she said that Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said she was last seen walking away from her home. And then did she say around 7?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just go back slightly. And again, misreporting or miscommunication, or is it changed stories?
Yeah.
Crews from around Hawkins County have converged on this rural community near Church Hill. They're looking for 4-year-old Summer Wells. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said she was last seen walking from her home on Ben Hill Road off Beach Creek Road, not far from here, around 7 tonight. She was last seen with.
Yeah, 7 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
From the sheriff.
Yep.
Okay, I'll continue.
Wearing a pink shirt and gray shorts. Earlier tonight, I saw a deputy searching vehicles off Beach Creek Road. Hawkins County deputies and first responders are.
So she saw vehicles being checked?
Yeah, off Beach Creek Road.
Okay.
That's good.
But again, that doesn't, like everyone, it's the elephant in the room. We know that there is some sort of weird time gap going on for the day.
Yeah.
So just because they're checking vehicles at this point into the evening, who knows what happened before they called 911 at 6:30? Who knows what happened before Candace even posted that picture on Facebook?
Absolutely. And again, that's why I think the brothers are so important to the story. Because and I feel like this is a lot of these kind of, when there are no cell phones that we're going off of, or forensic, I don't know, that's the right word. I guess like a, you know what I'm trying to say, like a computer.
Yeah, the metadata, whatever.
Yes, thank you. You're going off of somebody's word. So you have to think, are they credible? Like, is Mom Candace credible in her saying when she went into the house and things like that?
And it's like, what would each person have to gain by lying if they are not credible? You know what I mean? Like, when we go through the interviews together or whatever, we'll weigh that into our minds. Like, what would Allie have to gain by lying about this? What would H have to gain about lying about what happened that day? Like, I want to re-listen and kind of figure that out too.
Agree. Because, if they're lying, there's a why behind it. Whether it's something sinister or not, a lie is a lie, and there's a reason it happens.
Are searching on the ground. THP and medical helicopters are in the air. We're told a command post has been established, and we're at a Baptist church on Beach Creek Road, where we're told information will be released as soon as it's available. Reporting for News Channel 11, I'm Bianca Marais.
Bianca, thanks. And we will have more on the search for Summer Wells all throughout our newscast tonight and online.
That's for sure. Again, Summer Wells, 4 years old. Her photo is posted on WJHL.
They come in. She says, well, Summer, she went down in the basement, but she didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera.
Unlocked, he says.
He said unlocked, like we had said, earlier that he said in this first video or whatever. But also he said in the basement, and that was when that was the last time we saw her. But they didn't see her in the basement.
No one did. Allegedly, no one did.
But Don knows that was the last place he saw her and that the door was unlocked. So I'm just going to keep playing this and grab the baby for a second, but this will just play through. And then if there's something you want me to go back at, I'll be right back.
Camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, let Summer be okay. And please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person is out there, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat our brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help that they have, law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
Donald Wells let us come to the home off Ben Hill Road earlier today, but did not wish to speak on camera. He showed us the door he says Summer left from, the flowers he says she planted with her mother and grandmother, and the from. Donald Wells let us come to the home off Ben Hill Road earlier today, but did not wish to speak on camera. He showed us the door.
Okay, sorry. Ryan, fiance, is helping me out. All right, so that's the door. That's the lock. That's how thick it is. It looks like it's two locks. Look like one is on the other side of the handle, and then it has the one the padlock or whatever above it.
Yeah.
So secure, in my opinion. It doesn't look like it was forced entry. Obviously, everyone's already noticed that.
Right. Agreed.
But I just thought it was interesting that he didn't want to be on camera this day, but he made that statement with the son the day before.
Yeah.
The door he says Summer left from. The flowers he says she planted with her mother and grandmother. And the swing she would often play on. Meanwhile, in the area surrounding the Wells home, crews are dealing with the threat of severe weather.
I was at work and I got a frantic call from my wife. And I said, hang up and call 911. And I called 911. And I come from work and drove home as fast as I possibly could.
I noticed here too that he says I came from work twice. I mean, maybe it's just nerves and being on camera, but it was just something I noticed. Like I don't know.
He's just letting everyone know he was
Came from work.
at work.
And drove to the bottom of our property, and I seen my boys here walking around and my neighbors all looking and searching, and I knew right then that she was gone. But she don't never leave the property by herself anyway. I was at work and I got a frantic call from my wife, and I said hang up and call 911. And I called 911.
Sorry, clipped it twice.
It's just interesting going back and seeing him here now that we have seen him do so many YouTube interviews. It's just so interesting to revisit.
It is. I almost feel like, I don't know, some of the interviews he does, he seems totally different. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously what you're getting at too. It's like just an interesting progression of, but at the same time, it's like the same thing over and over. He was at work.
Yep.
Email is following the case, and Levi, I understand it's taking a toll.
You know, all the three people who spoke today said the same thing about just how frustrating it's been trying to navigate through that tough terrain. Now, it's why they say your help can make the difference. Of course, what they don't want, however, is for anyone to get lost trying to search through this terrain on their own. Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said he wants people, especially those in the Beech Creek community, to search their properties. That includes barns, crawl spaces, and anywhere a young child may hide. Earlier, we saw the line crew canvassing certain neighborhoods, and they say in some cases, it's the 5th or 6th time they've gone over the same place. With the help of more than 106 agencies between 6 states, crews hope to have enough fresh eyes to spot even the smallest details. That said, we're talking about 4.6 square miles and more than 3,000 acres.
I know some of the residents probably getting frustrated with seeing the officers, but as the captain will tell you, we've had very intense operations all week long for 9 days now. And we're not done yet because, like I told you from day one, it's about finding Summer. That's the number one goal here.
If you can't make it to some of the tougher to reach spots of your property, please contact the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office for help. Sheriff Lawson says that they can send a deputy your way to try and search the places for you. Well, if you need more contact information, we'll have that on our website at newschannel5.com. If you know anything about Summer's whereabouts, please contact TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Reporting, Levi Ismail, News Channel 5.
I believe she's in the woods near their home.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing.
This is just clips of the 12-minute interview.
I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her and has lured her away from here.
The parents of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells saying they never thought she was in the woods near their home, but that they believe she was abducted. Search crews combing through nearly 5 square miles around the Wells home.
I have to do one step at a time, I guess, but I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them.
Summer not the first girl to go missing in her family.
When my sister got missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know
See, I didn't have the time to go through it, but I'm curious what he was just saying, like under, I don't know who he was talking
Yeah.
to, but he was just saying something. And like I've turned it up all the way and like enhanced the quality and I still like can't make it out, but I'm sure there's some other program out there that could do it a better job.
Yeah.
But there's other parts in this interview, and this isn't the whole 12-minute one. I know you have the 12-minute one on your channel, but it's just really, there's like other parts that are like that too, where he's like talking and then she's talking too.
Mm-hmm.
All of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too.
When you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Lose it.
Fear beginning to spread through the Wells home as Summer remains missing.
And then it really bothers me to find out that we've had sex offenders living within 8 minutes of my house.
Keep a close watch on your kids.
Yes.
Don't let them out of your sight.
Summer's parents saying they wish they could search every structure.
But Summer wasn't out of their sight.
Right.
And like, what is saying that have anything to do with what happened? I mean, if he, excuse me, if he's saying that she was abducted, then okay. But at the same time, it's like, that's a special kind of abduction if she was in the safety of her basement behind a locked door, according to the mother. But he says unlocked. But it's like, wouldn't a better thing to have said is make sure you lock your doors, everyone.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously I'm not him and I'm not on the camera, so who knows what would come out, but it's just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Structure in America if it could help lead to finding her.
Now that we know she's not in the woods anywhere, I wish we could focus on finding her. You know, I don't know what, or I don't know.
That was Bianca Murray reporting. The family told Bianca today they still do not know where Summer is. They are aching for answers.
What she said happened the day the 5-year-old went missing. Take a listen.
Wasn't it kind of strange to see Don kind of shrug and be like, I don't know, in comparison to how he is now, like you were saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seems like now it's like, can you just stop like with the rambling or like these crazy stories, the dogs were gone and all this stuff, etc. But here we see him on camera, like, you know, how many days after she's been gone, and he's doesn't want to kind of theorize or be on the spot.
Yeah. And yeah, it makes you wonder kind of what has shifted that is causing him to talk so much.
Right. But I honestly, I give the voices behind the wall credit for having him feel comfortable to keep talking. And I think Jay for Justice was saying the same thing. It's like they gave him an area where, like here in the beginning, we're not getting much out of him. So even if he's rambling on now and we just want him to stop, it's still kind of like, what does all this mean in the grand scheme of things?
I agree. And I'm the same way. While I have my own opinions on Dawn and all of that, I think it's great that he's comfortable to speak, and I hope he does keep speaking and talking. You know, I'll be listening, that's for sure. Are you still there? I don't hear you. Can you guys hear me in chat? I think we lost Amber. Yeah, the whole interview, it's interesting to watch that interview with Dawn and Candace, even without listening to it. Just watch it on mute and watch their body language and watch some of the looks that Candace gives Dawn. Okay, so I'm still here, but we lost Amber. I'm sure she'll be back. So Rick, you're close. You're back.
Sorry.
You're fine.
I don't know if it's StreamYard or what, but that was annoying. Okay, so hold on.
Okay.
We're back.
We were just kind of talking about that 12-minute interview with Dawn and Candace. Even watching it without listening to it, just watch it on mute and watch their body language. It's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. And she's totally different than the way she is when Chris from the interview room goes and visits her, I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
That's blatantly obvious.
Came to grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said,
The candy from grandma is such a small detail, but it keeps getting said over and over and over and over.
Yes. Even in that screenshot that allegedly is from grandma, she mentions the candy. I mean, it's a reoccurring pop-up detail of that evening.
Right.
I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was. And they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times. And I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
Within a couple of days, we have a tip or lead or have an idea if they've been abducted, if they may be left into the woods. Somebody saw something that leads us, hopefully, to get an answer to where the child went.
So she is saying within a couple days, they usually have some sort of direction.
Yeah.
And as we know, we don't have anything else besides what they've already told us.
Right.
But, you know, like we've said, they obviously know way more.
Or if they were taken, we're going to have some tip or lead. And that is the frustrating part for law enforcement in this case and for the public. We will continue to investigate and search for Summer. In the public side, there may not be as much media attention given to this case, but that does not mean that we stop what we're doing. We will continue to use every resource we have that we can utilize to try to find Summer.
So yeah, there was music playing with this, but I got a copyright strike for it when I was uploading it, so I just took it off.
Oh.
Boy, her missing around 6:30 p.m.
But when was did they say when she was last seen? I know that she was reported missing around that time, but was she last seen earlier in the afternoon or in the day even?
That time is varied because they were searching for their child themselves.
I questioned for Captain 2.
So yeah, he just said they were searching themselves.
Yeah, that bothers me that she's like, well, when was she last seen? That time is varied because they were searching themselves. And then the Leslie lady had said early afternoon. So again, it seems like law enforcement is not confident on the time when Summer was last seen. And that's concerning.
And maybe they know that the timeline is already shady, so they're not trying to highlight it because that's part of their investigation and something that they can kind of use against their suspects or whatever is going on. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we've noticed it, and other people have noticed it.
Yep.
And that's the thing that an investigation people hold dear to them, the timeline that they've worked on for it, you know?
Yeah, I know with the the Watts case, just talking with you, we just go back to the timeline and look into that, and that should be clear and it should answer questions. But in Summer's case, it's not clear and it's causing more questions, and that's concerning.
Yeah, it is, especially since it's like why lie?
Just wanted to see, are you asking for assistance from other agencies? I know yesterday you all mentioned 19 agencies helping out with the quick turnover in personnel, it sounds like, that are searching. Are you all looking for other agencies in surrounding counties to help? And what is the hours that you all are searching?
Yeah, so hours of operation this time are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have, like Leslie stated yesterday, we have utilized at this time 19 different agencies throughout the state of Tennessee. We also have multiple agencies outside of our jurisdiction in burning states, and also expanding to Middle Tennessee to having these teams on standby.
You talked about getting tips. Can you give me an idea of the magnitude of
Of course, the longer this goes, the more concerned we get. At this stage, we've received nearly 50 leads. None have panned out so far.
50?
Yes, approximately 50 at this point.
Who does Summer live with, and is there any history with this family with law enforcement or anything that you're aware of?
Summer lived with her parents and 3 siblings.
Are these her biological parents, mother and father?
Is there any history of your home? Is there any history of your office going to their home, or anyone in the home? Is there any criminal history with any family members?
The father has a criminal history.
Can you elaborate on that?
I don't have it with me.
is any of the family persons of interest?
Everybody's a person of interest till we find someone. The most important thing is find someone. That's what it's all about. That's why we're doing the ground searches, aerial searches. Finding her is first and foremost.
Are you concerned that this could be an abduction at this point after so much time has passed?
Everything's on the table. I mean, we're looking at everything, crossing every T, dotting every I, and turning every stone. That's why we have 2 different operations. Captain's operations, search and rescue. Law enforcement operation is look into this incident, find someone.
Is the father's criminal record relevant in this investigation?
No.
No.
I've also heard there's been speculation of the siblings in the household. Just wasn't sure if you're able to elaborate on the siblings at all.
They have 3 others besides Summer.
Older, younger, brothers, sisters?
Older.
One more question, guys. Anybody have another question? Okay.
I had a question. We've heard about issues with communications between search teams regarding lack of cell coverage as well as the radios. Could you elaborate on that? What those issues have been and how they've impacted the search?
Well,
we've utilized ground crews of 80 to 100 people of trained professionals, aerial aviation search, both visual and FLIR, medical THB and TBI assisting us with fixed wing, multiple drones, and 4 different canine units. The day that she went missing, we searched from the time of notification until dark. We searched all day yesterday, resumed this morning, continue on throughout the rest of our operational period, utilizing multiple ground crews, drones, fixed wing, and also helicopter with canines on standby. Some of the issues we're encountering with the search is the steep and dangerous terrain. With this steep and dangerous terrain, we're also experiencing, as you see behind us, very dense canopy coverage, including very dense ground cover, causing search efforts to become very difficult, taking extra time to cover these areas adequately, exhausting teams a lot quicker, in turn causing longer for these grounds to be covered, allowing those teams for recovery and rehab. We have currently covered at this time at 1 mile from the residence last seen by ground and dog. Hopefully by the end of the day, we will have recovered 2 ground miles, assisting with THP, expanding theirs to a minimum of 4 miles aerial aviation searching. As she stated, residents in this area, everybody continues to ask, well, if she wandered off, why did somebody not see her? This part of the community, the residents are very spread out. Some being from one hilltop to the other hilltop, or at the start of a road, and you may go a mile back before you ever get to another residence. It's making that very difficult for residents just to be able to be at home, outside working or something, notice her leaving that area. As we continue, we will continually assist Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, TBI, and FBI with this search as long as they deem necessary. And as Leslie stated, at this time we are not asking for any public and/or volunteers to assist in the search. A lot of people wonder why. Due to the extreme terrain, the nature of this, trying to locate her, trained professionals is what we need at this time to make sure that these residents don't become endangered and turn around and expand this issue with having to search for somebody else. Thank you.
As we've stated before, the circumstances surrounding Summer's disappearance remain unclear. So if we do develop information that she was taken, if we develop the suspect and vehicle description, of course, we will share that.
Today, I heard from Robin Lane how much Summer meant to her and her experience from the night Summer disappeared.
Whenever I was helping teach Sabbath school, she was in my lap. And sometimes it was hard to teach because she wanted to be in my lap, holding me and hugging me. I just discovered that it was actually easier for me just to hold her and let her love on me and hug me and teach with her on me than it was to make her sit in a chair.
Robin Lane tells me she had a close bond with Summer.
She was a helper. She loved to help. She loved to love on us. And I just loved her little arms around my neck all the time.
She recalled she was attending her own daughter's dance recital the night Summer disappeared.
I was taking my little girl's pictures before her dance class, and I noticed I was missing calls from Candace. Before I even had a chance to call her, she messaged me again on Facebook Messenger, and she was just in a panic mode. And she says, Summer's gone. We can't find her anywhere. The police are here searching. And I said, I'll be right there.
Lane said she arrived at the Beach Creek area around 9 p.m. on June 15th. The night Summer was reported missing.
I was ready. I was like, let's do this. Let's get the flashlights out. Let's get some snacks in our bags. It's going to be an all-nighter, And they wouldn't let us. They wouldn't let us even go up there.
Police blocking the entrance to Ben Hill Road. Lane says she offered assistance the only way she could.
We showed them some pictures of Summer. The police didn't have very good pictures of her, or some of them hadn't even seen a picture of her yet.
Later that night, she was granted access to the Wells home.
At that point, there's really nothing I could do. They just needed someone to pray with them. You feel really helpless in that situation because you want to do something. It makes you feel better to do something. But we couldn't, so we just prayed and we just hugged on them and loved on the boys. And they, of course, were just shattered and just confused, as was I.
Lane says police wouldn't allow them to assist in the search.
And then we had to go home, and it was really hard driving home with her not being found. Helicopters everywhere, search dogs everywhere, police everywhere, and there's nothing that you can do to help.
Case with Summer Wells, the 5-year-old out of Northeast Tennessee, missing for more than a month.
It's true the search effort has been scaled back after crews have found no trace of the child. But tonight, News Channel 5's Nick Barris with an exclusive look at how authorities investigate these cases from behind the scenes, especially when foul play may be involved.
Children never found. You need to go no further than the high-profile Joe Clyde Daniels case. His father was convicted of murder, but the boy's remains were never found. The question many asking now, what is the fate of Summer Wells? It's been 36 long days since the 5-year-old was reported missing from her home in Hawkins County, Tennessee. That is a long time for a missing child.
The longer you go, it is less likely that you're going to have a successful recovery. About 1% of children survive longer than 24 hours. And so we're hoping that Summer Wells is going to be that 1%er. She's going to be a 1%er.
Margie Quinn headed up the state's Amber Alert program for 11 years before leaving the TBI, and she is an expert in human trafficking. She's not involved in the Wells investigation, but she's followed it and knows abduction is a strong possibility, but not likely for human trafficking.
That's always the public's first thought, is they've been abducted and trafficked. People who are going to traffic young people are not going to abduct them. It brings too much attention.
The Summer Wells case has been highly publicized. If she were to suddenly show up on an internet site, people would know. She's not there. So what are the TBI and FBI currently doing?
I think in any case like that, especially where they've had
800-900 different leads, and you've got to look at every possible angle.
Jeremy Lofquest is a TBI special agent in charge working abductions and human trafficking. Sources have told News Channel 5 it now appears unlikely Wells just wandered off, or bloodhounds certainly would have found something. So the focus shifts more to foul play. Agent Lofquest is not directly involved with the Wells case, but says it is being handled like other similar missing child cases.
You look at all the relationships, you look at all the circumstances there at the beginning, or what you think's the beginning, and follow the timeline.
That includes questioning parents, siblings, relatives, everyone close to the child, or those who live nearby.
Neighbors are going to be interviewed, sex offenders in the area are going to be interviewed, anybody with a likelihood to have committed this kind of crime.
It's all been done, and still, after more than a month of searching, questioning, and hundreds of tips to the TBI hotline, nothing. No suspects, no trace of Summer Wells. No one is giving up, but the simple fact is this: without any new credible leads or a person who knows someone coming forward, Summer Wells, like Joe Clyde Daniels, another 5-year-old who vanished, may never be found.
So I know that was 36 days after she went missing, but I thought that was a good clip to kind of include just because of the expert in her opinion.
Found.
Like, I thought that 1% was just like kind of shattered my hopes in a way.
Yeah, it really just makes it, it's very grim, it feels, this whole case, and I think the outcome is going to be grim as well. And that's sad, but that is the reality, and when you look at statistics. So yeah, I found that really interesting. And then Joe Clyde Daniels, I'd like to do something on that, because that's another sad case. He was never found. It also happened in Tennessee. So
yeah, that would be good to compare. Just I know that you had mentioned that to me, like about the way that investigation and case was. So that is interesting. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else that kind of stood out. Robin's account, she said that the boys were confused and crushed or something like that.
Yeah.
But Dawn said that they're fine. I think she might have been talking about like the night that it happened, but that was interesting to kind of paint a picture.
One thing seeing Robin tonight that stuck out to me. So on Unmasked, remember David, he went to the house and was there when Robin was there. And he mentioned how Candace showed a video of the kids swimming and that the boys were swimming. And according to David, Candace said it was from the day Summer went missing. I just wonder if Robin saw that video as well. I know we can ask her. But yeah, I wonder if she saw that.
Has she done has she done YouTube interview?
No, I feel like possibly it was Voices Behind the Wall. There was somebody who asked her to, and she said that she would pray on it or something along those lines and get back to them. But as far as I know, no, she has not.
Teresa's got to interview her now.
I know. I bet they've tried.
Yeah, I would just like to hear like her extensive timeline of that night, like outside of what she just said there. Like they told her that they couldn't search, etc. Like I'd like to know like what time did Candace call you and say that that she couldn't find Summer, etc.
Exactly. Yeah, and I want to know, like, did you see the same video that David said he saw that night? What did she tell you about that? If so, etc.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know. Was there anything else that anyone in chat or you? I don't know. In my conclusion, I didn't even need to go much beyond this point because nothing has developed since. In fact, things that were said after this point have changed. And this is just pretty much the first statements. And then it kind of gets a little crazy after this point.
Agree. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I think it's really great how you put this all together, because like you said, from here, like basically after this on out, it's all been Dawn on YouTube talking, or messages between a family member and someone else that people speculate, are they even that family member? So it was interesting to go back and just see what officials have said so far.
Right. And what like TBI and their initial statements were. And then for some reason, things on YouTube, it's like a totally different for both of them, for Candace and Don. And all the interviews, it's like, whoa, it's like totally different.
Yep.
Broken dishes. Thank you so much. She said, thank you, Amber, for this review. P.S. Your baby sounds adorable. Thank you. I redo the audio so many times, and it is what it is. You know, she's going to make noise.
Yeah, and she is so adorable.
Thank you. Wait, I see Rick Hinkle said, Robin said Candace call about 8 and they got there about 9:15. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that.
Delana said, I just think David only knows what they told him, and he said he only knew them for a few months, which isn't long at all, and we haven't heard from him since. Yeah, he kind of did distance himself real quick, it seemed.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Well, I didn't see any trolls or anything like that, so I'm really glad. I kind of expected it, but thank you very much, everyone, and thanks, CDT, for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and we're always going to keep it about the investigation and Summer. Obviously, we want answers. We want just to know that it goes beyond she just disappeared and that's it. You know, it's just we're not going to be satisfied with just that. So I guess thank you, everyone, and good night, and I'll see you all soon.
Yeah, good night, everyone, and thanks everyone for chatting with us, and thanks for having me, Amber.
Of course, and thank you, mods. Bye-bye.
Bye.